Hey, what's up everyone? It's TECHOSAUR and I hope you are all doing great. In this video, I'm going to try out JSAUX on custom RGB backplate made especially for the LIX. They sent me a testing unit to try out and review. We're going to see the full installation process together and also check if it improves cooling for the hardware components inside, as it includes also a heatsink. So with that being said, let's get right into it. As soon as you open the box, you will find lots of stuff inside, with first thing is this sticker that you can adhere to the battery to enhance its appearance. This is a nice little touch to make the battery look slicker instead of its original foil. Let's dive deeper and check what else we have here. Inside this box, we'll find 3 thermal pads that will need to be attached to the heatsink. These are specifically cut to fit perfectly the included heatsink and help in heat transferring. Then there are also stickers to block the light sensor of the LIX. The original back cover has it blocked when installed, and given that this one is transparent, we need this sticker. So putting it in is an essential step. They've also included this screwdriver that will test for removing and installing the new back cover. Beneath this foam layer, we'll find the heatsink itself. It's made out of aluminum and has some fins to add in heat dissipation, and the marking indicate where the thermal pads should be placed. The heatsink weighs 33 grams. We'll find other things inside the box, such as a pry tool, which is extremely useful, and another one for disconnecting the battery and ribbon cables. The kit also includes screws for mounting the macro case PCB in place. You can either reuse the original screws or use the ones provided in JSAUX cover. Additionally, they've included screws for the back cover itself. There is also a cable for charging the small power bank that powers the RGB strips. Finally, we found those gloves that you can put on for extra safety. Now let's look at the backplate itself. First impressions, it's absolutely stunning. The transparent design looks sleek, and I was pleasantly surprised to find that they included 2 texture grips for improved ergonomic comfort as well. These grips makes the device easier to hold and looks designed well. The backplate comes pre-installed with macro keys, RGB strips, and their PCBs. Now let's start the installation by removing the original back cover. There are total 6 screws to remove. Now use the included pry tool and gently slide it into the gaps around the edges. As you remove it, be careful here as there is a ribbon cable attached to the back cover, so don't pull it off too forcefully. Now we'll need to swap the macro keys PCB to the new back plate. So begin by disconnecting the ribbon cable using the provided pry tool, and then unscrew the PCB from the original back cover. One issue I encountered was with this screwdriver included. While it works fine for larger screws like the back cover ones, however it's not ideal for the smaller screws used in the PCB for the macro keys. So I recommend using a smaller screwdriver to avoid slipping the screws or causing damage. Carefully disconnect the ribbon cable. It's slightly adhered to the back, so take your time to prevent any damage. Now one great thing of the LIX is that the triggers are now mounted on the front side instead of the back cover, as was the case with the original Ally. This makes the process easier in this case, as we don't need to remove or reattach the triggers. Additionally, the JSAUX backplate has its own macro keys pre-installed, so there is no need to transfer these ones as well. Now to install the PCB of the macro keys, align it into the new backplate and secure it with the screws. Next, we'll need to block the light sensor as we said, by using one of the provided stickers. This step is crucial because without blocking the light sensor, the LIX will not power on with the transparent backplate. It's time to install the thermal pads into the heatsink. Align them in their designated area on the heatsink. Now before installing the heatsink, it will be better to disconnect the battery cable. This will give you more room to work in and ensure the heatsink is positioned correctly. Use the included pry tool to remove the battery cable from its lock and then lift it off. Now place the heatsink with the screw hole facing the top and apply some pressure to ensure full contact with the thermal pads and components. And as you can see, the heatsink is designed to cover both the APU and the 2080 SSD drive. So this way you won't need an SSD heatsink. Once the heatsink is in place, reconnect the battery cable and tidy up the wiring for better cable management. Then connect the ribbon cable to the macro case PCB. Last but not the least, we can also apply the battery sticker for a cleaner look. With all that's done, we'll now close the back cover. Use the included screws. There should remain extra 4 screws, so don't worry if you find a few left over. Now the new backplate looks absolutely premium. The transparent design gives it a modern and stylish appearance. The triggers, bumpers, and buttons work flawlessly, and the cutouts for the exhaust area are precise, as well as fans intake area. The button on top allows you to turn on the RGB on and off if you hold it, or if you click it once, it will switch between effects. And we have 6 different RGB effects. And this port is for charging the RGB battery, which is a 150 mAh unit and lasts approximately 2 hours on a full charge. So you can have the RGB effect on without using the Ally X battery. When it's charging, the indicator glows in red and turns green once fully charged. With 8 LEDs on each side, the lighting is vibrant and quite bright. When you hold the Ally X with this backplate, it feels noticeably softer. So if you prefer a better grip, you can have it thanks to the included textured grips. They provide better handling and improve the overall holding experience. They have transparent zones on the back, showcasing the RGB lighting elegantly, adding to its premium feel. And if you ever need to remove the grips, it's a quick and simple process. Now that the installation is complete, let's test the cooling performance. For my test setup, I used a manual power plan in Armory crate with power limit set to 30 watts, fans fixed at maximum speed, VRAM at 8G, and CPU boost is enabled. Running Cinebench R23 showed a slight improvement in scores. The multi-core score increased by around 100 points, and the maximum CPU temperature dropped from 81 degrees Celsius to 80. SSD temp 1 reduced by 1 degrees, but SSD temp 2, which is the NAND memory, dropped by 3 degrees. CPU temperature also saw a reduction of 2 degrees. Now thermal imaging revealed that the original backplate traps heat near the top, while the JSAUX backplate distributes heat more evenly across the middle thanks to the heatsink. Running 3D Mark TimeSpy benchmark showed again a slight improvement in the scores, with especially the CPU score improving by around 230 points. I've also run TimeSpy stress test and it showed better FPS stability, improving from 98.1% to 98.7%. Temperatures during this test showed a 2 degrees reduction for the CPU, 3 degrees for the SSD NAND memory, and 2 degrees for the GPU. Finally, I've run Blackmace Wukong benchmark. Here we can observe the temperature reduction live of up to 3 degrees for CPU and GPU, while performance remained steady with no significant difference in FPS. So overall, the JSAUX backplate for the Ally X is a great upgrade. It not only gives a vibrant and nice looking, but also improves the cooling performance even slightly. The textured grips enhance comfort, and the vibrant RGB lighting adds a modern touch. If you are interested in buying one, you can use code TECHOSAUR at the checkout for a small discount. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.